Hi guys, we'll be running through Lentor residences that is upcoming 2 weeks later. Now is the preview time. There are quite a lot of people actually flooding the Showfred today already. Tomorrow is likely going to be worse. So we'll see. Let's see whether is it really good. By this time I'm not going to talk too much because previously last year, September period, I already had one on Lentor Modern. And fundamentals not so easy to change on. So for those of you interested, you can go ahead and over there. I'm just going to talk very briefly about the project. TOP date expected going to be around end of 2026. Of course, it's non-committed basis. No later than 1st of December 2028. Site area is around this. Number of units is almost about 600. Lentor model I think is also almost slightly over 600 around there if I remember correctly. Site plan is like this. I'm not too interested, but for those who are a little bit pantang or whatever, this one is a 八字. Some of them they say it's purposely like a HUAT thing, and there's a tree somewhere in the middle. Is there all their architectural design thing lah. And for those of you who cannot survive in the west sun, and this will be coming in west lah. Okay, it's actually not that bad lah, but certain people they touch west, they are vampires. They touch west sun, they will just melt immediately. So, and this one is a little bit interesting. A little bit, I wouldn't really say super interesting because there are some developments like one per bank. Also, facilities are on the higher floors. Maybe because the land size is not enough, and this one they still managed to squeeze in quite some additional facilities over here on the 8th floor. So interesting thing is that they have the 8th, and then everything is also on the 8th floor. Okay, this one is on the 9th floor, but yeah, 8th floor. Okay, all these you can easily go to the Showfred and hear this, so you don't need to hear this from me. I'm not very interested in this as well. All these doesn't affect the fundamentals of the project. So number of units, you can see the large chunk is concentrated in more towards the larger unit, the 1 bidders. We'll see how it's gonna turn out, but the large chunk belongs to the 2 to 4 bidders, and this is quite a lot of 4 bidders. It seems like they are quite confident to move all these units. If not, then it's gonna be quite a big headache. I have no idea how they are getting all this confidence right now with so much supply coming up, but we'll see. Okay, for those of you who are not very clear which exactly Lentor, because I think there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 2 are still on reserve. All these 5 others are already bidded, and that's why you got quite a lot of things going on over here. It's very packed. There will be a lot of constructions ongoing for the next at least I think 3 to 5 years minimum, and that's why this area is going to be quite I wouldn't really see the best living environment if you are living nearby. But we'll see whether how they will affect the prices. Okay, so all these are surrounding competition for Lentor Hill residences. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much on them. Previously, I already highlighted before. I put up 5 of the nearest comparables. All these are decently large condos and above, and that's why they are definitely potential threats to your exit eventually. All these guys over here, this one and this one are very old. This one is not so old, and but the thing is, these 2 of them are freeholds, and Lentor model of course is still under construction. You'll see after the initial hype and launch, the prices hasn't been going very well, and now it's definitely under threat. So for those of them who bought in thinking that land price will just keep going up because of all the narrative that a lot of agents are saying, right, then they're suffering lah. If I remember correctly, you can just feel free to go ahead to my 1 year ago video when people weren't really expecting prices to go down because everyone is literally singing the same song, right? I think if I remember correctly, I did mention that land price may not always go out in such a place because there is almost way too much supply. But the sad thing is that I think nobody was saying that. I think I was very much the only one. But well, it is coming true. But it's very interesting to see because the recent one, Lentor Gardens, if I remember correctly, the land price is a lot cheaper even compared to the how many land plots do we have? Yeah, never mind. Over here, okay. This one is the most expensive one, followed by can't remember which one, but this one is not bad. This one is probably the second cheapest one. I think this is the cheapest one, then followed by the one by UE, and maybe this one is the most expensive one, because some people say it's within 1K of sneakers or whatever. Not that it actually matters. For those of you who are very into the data, you know what's actually happening rather than going by the hearsays. So this one, whether it will fly, I think very, very unlikely, because unless all the others are priced here, which is already announced here already. I'm going to talk a little bit more later. But it doesn't seem very optimistic for those guys over here, because for this guy to really run, your other guys must be expensive so that people are willing to pay more for this supposedly premium for this integrator. After all, these guys over here are all very close within each other, and the real MRT is here. So you're talking about, yes, integrated, but if they want to go to a shopping mall, they do not have to pay 200-300 PSF extra for this, because it's obviously not worth it. We have seen that example a lot of times in Park Colonial versus Woodley Residences, and even Treville. The funny thing is that Treville seems to be the harder hitter than Park Colonial, or even, and the worst performer happened to be the integrated development. And today we are seeing the same thing happening over and over and over again, but people just love integrated development. Now we are looking at reserve residences. Well, it will be interesting to see how it turns out, but I'm very certain history will repeat itself. But people just love to buy what they want, and then justify it with their emotions, and then when reality hits them hard in the face, that's when they start crying foul, or just some of them maybe a little bit not so aggressive, they will just suck thumb lah. So anyway, these two guys are definitely better, stronger in this area. After all, they are freehold in the 99 area. They will be the ace in the area. But you can see these two guys, they are older, 99, very, very old, 99-year lease. They're already running how many years in? I think almost about, they are even older than me. Come on, they're like 30 plus, 40 years already. And all these are condos. Whether they will en bloc is also another big thing. So never ever think that a condo will definitely en bloc, because there are a lot of factors, a lot of human factors. In fact, for those of you who have been following closely, you would have noticed that Chuan Park previously was involved in quite a court case, recently managed to get out and reach a conclusion, but I'm very sure things are still not that rosy yet lah. We'll see. Okay, Lentor Hill Residences. Let's see, the one bidder starting from this price, 2,000 for two bidders, 3,000, and 3 bidders for 1.9 flat and 4 bidders 8,000, 1,800 plus. The dual keys, well, dual keys at a quite a premium. Actually, I think I mentioned somewhere in one of the videos before, I can't remember which one, but dual key is definitely overrated in my opinion. Unless you're telling me everything is there's no premium that comes with it, then maybe there will be advantage. But if there is a premium that comes with it, then definitely your risk is going to be high, and the entry price is not cheap at all. So I mean, nobody is gonna say their own product is unattractive, right? So I'm sorry for those of you new to my channel. I'm just I call myself a realist. Some people call me a pessimist. I don't care. I see more of a realist. I see things as it is. I don't see things in a sugar coated manner. I don't like being sugar coated. So yep, but not everyone appreciates that. So yep, even the people that I work with on a regular basis, I prefer they are in my face. So that's just how I am. But if you want things that are going to be profitable, they have a very, very high chance of making money, then I think the realist way is really what you really have to hear, because buying a house and making money is always a logical decision. But if you want to buy and enjoy a house, then it becomes an emotional decision. You have to really decide what you want. Okay, so let's see. Now, this is the mentioned official guide price, but judging from the previous two launches, which is Reserve Residence and Continuum, both of them launched below guide prices, and that's why they created a lot of FOMO, a lot of people are like, wow, suddenly a very good deal, they launched below guide price, but After that, in between, we pretty much know what's happening lah. So, prices being staged up, or some of them like reserve residents, they people actually act like it's the biggest deal of century, but all four directions are major route. And the funny thing is that some other developments, 1-2 lane route, they are making such a big hoo-ha. When I talk to such people, it gets rather annoying. But when it comes to reserve residents, 4 lanes per side means a total of 9 to 10 lanes. They see it, it's okay, it's fine, because they are thinking with the emotions, because it's an integrated development. So sometimes integrated development gets a free pass on every single thing, other things, until it reaches the resale market. Resale market, remember, because like I say, I assume that all of you who are on my channel are investment minded. If you want an emotional, this is not a channel for you. You just need to go to a show flat, listen to all the sugar coated stuff, and then just buy accordingly. You don't need to think so much about that, but just buy whichever you like, whichever show flat looks the nicest, whichever finishing looks the nicest, whichever can tell you the nicest stories. But over here, I think we have to know what is actually going on lah. For this Lentor Hill residences, land prices is 1060. I think Lentor model is about 1200 plus, 1250. And Lentor Gardens, I think it's only about 984, around there. So the latest one actually ended up being the cheapest one, so which is quite totally contrary to what a lot of agents have been singing about, the song that they like to sing and the people like to hear. But not all places are always like this, because it really depends on the fundamentals of the places, and I pretty much call this out very early on. And then now suddenly some of these agents, or even supposedly gurus, are suddenly singing this same song, or not whatever. Like previously, one year ago, is this what you actually said? But suddenly you turn around and sing a story. It's like some people doing a review, or doing turning back on their words. I don't think so. If you are making a mistake, I'll just make a mistake lah. Why do I have to turn around? But anyway, that's not the focus of today. Break-even price, a lot according to these. All these, remember, all these are estimates. Some people treat this break-even like, it's like the fixed break-even. Remember, land financing now, interest rates are on a high, so this land financing may actually go up. Professional taxes and all these legal fee may also go up. Construction, question mark, because I think steel prices has really started to come down. Land price is pretty much fixed. Marketing is also question mark, because it can change. All these will also, the amount of marketing that they do can also change, and so the cost, all these are always estimates. So don't take this as a hard and fast rule. Maybe I would say somewhere in between 1008, 1009, or even, around there. So the developers actually sell even lower than this. They have the leeway because we've seen that in COVID days because nowadays we are seeing quite a lot of land new launches coming up within the next 2-3 months. People will think that they are spoiled for choice, which they are not wrong, but you need to understand that developers now, they may be a little bit more I wouldn't say fearful, they may be a bit more kiasi at this point. There's a difference to me lah. I mean, it depends on how you see it. Fearful, it can be really, really very scared. Really very scared is like last time during COVID period, where developers were selling, some of them is selling it below break even. Now the issue is most of them have at least 3 to 4 years plus to sell. And are they actually in a panic mode right now? No, not really. Now what they are just trying to do is to create nicer headlines, or this project launched and then how many percent sold. And of course everyone feels that the reserve residence site is selling very well, so the headlines looks very good. On the other hand, continuum looks like a failure. But I think I mentioned before also, even for me, I wouldn't even get to reserve residence if I really, really, really had to choose between these two. I'd rather choose the one with the lower launch percentage. So but this is just how people likes. And then when it comes to developer side, they also want to secure that financing. They also want their marketing how do you call it, the marketing, the say, that kind of feel. So there are a lot of things that are not as as what we think it is. So this is Lentor modern pricing. I censored the unit prices. For those who are curious, you can contact me, but all these are for confidentiality PDVA purposes, before people started making a noise or whatever. Average or medium price is around 2001 for Lentor modern. So now I think the problem is starting to come back. Okay, and let's see. Okay, now the premium is that if let's say it is launched about 1000, this is 1009, 2000. If it's launched around this area, then will people be willing to pay this premium to enter into the integrated development? Because now we are looking at the resale market, So if you want to fight against those guys in Lentor modern, the developer don't really care, because after all these are their babies. All these are sold by the same developers. But for you as a buyer, you really need to care, because you need to think about how are you gonna exit, when are you gonna exit, and then how much are you gonna exit. There are a lot of questions that comes to mind. A lot of people just go inside the show flat, or buy into a good development that is supposedly good review, everything also good now. Other people make money. You realize that almost in every development, there will be people who make every good development. I should disclaimer again. There will be people who make a few 100,000, let's say 700,000. Then there will be people who make 70,000. Why? How come there's a big difference? So the choice of unit actually makes a lot of difference. You can buy into the good development, but you buy into the crappy unit, and that is what a lot of people don't realize, because they buy with their emotional mind rather than their logical mind. And this is where this comes into play. How much of a PSF then is worth to be buying below the integrated? If today you're telling me the non-integrated and the integrated price point is the same, PSF is the same, then why would I want to get a non-integrated? Because it kind of doesn't make sense. But non-integrated also does have its perks. For example, people like my wife, she says she doesn't like to stay in the integrated development. Surprise. I like to stay in the integrated development if given the same price. Okay, I wouldn't pay honestly, I wouldn't pay a premium. But a lot of people would be willing to pay 200-300 PSF premium. I wouldn't even pay like 50 PSF premium, because to me it's just open the gate, walk across, that's it. But people like my wife, she don't like the buzzing, like so much people there. She likes the privacy. For me, I just care about I'm just a lazy person. I just don't want to walk so much. But if I have to pay tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to walk, I'll gladly walk or even drive. How much petrol can I burn? Can I burn a few $100,000 worth of petrol? No, I don't think so, right? So back to the supply. Now with the launch of Lentor Hill Residences, now it's already 5,000 plus. But before you think 5,000 plus is okay, previously 5,000 plus was almost like a threshold. Now let's just remind you that the supply, if you take into account those that haven't been launched, like this guy, and also even these few guys over here, all these, remember the colors are residential colors, and even this whole chunk over here, who knows whether it's going to be confirmed HDB, BTO, or whatever. Not that I know of currently, or did I bother to go and research, because that's not my focus right now, but there could be a chance. But the immediate vicinity over here, all these guys, can they also be a condo, and will they lead to a supply glut? Because if all of them add together, right, the supply is going to be, it's over 9,000 right now. Those announced, including the reserve, let's not even talk about the question marks, it's already, as of this month, 7,000 plus. And as if that is not bad enough, the thing that we are worried always the most, as I mentioned in the Lentor model video, is that all these guys are going to be launched in almost the same timing, within 1 year or less than 1 year of each other. That means next time when you exit in the resale market, your resale buyers are looking at all those that are pretty much the same age. So what is your advantage? What could be your advantage? Barring all same price and same age, naturally most people, the demand will go here. But if this commands a premium, will people be willing to pay lesser, 50 to 100 PSF or even 200-300 PSF lesser to cross the road? I'm a lazy person, but I'll gladly pay the price. Even if they tell me to go over here, I will still go over here. Come on, likely it's gonna be a park lah, green color ma. Likely gonna be a park, so they'll just let me cut through lah. I'll just cut through lah. It's not like probably less than a 5 minutes walk, 3 minutes, 5 minutes walk. And if I have to pay a few $100,000, I don't think I'll pay the premium. So all these become a very, very dangerous supply problem, especially if you enter at the wrong price, or rather enter the wrong unit. I'm not saying that you shouldn't even buy anything here at all. Of course, if you're telling me I had to buy Lentor, then it will be a tough choice, but I'll have to make a choice lah. But if today I have a choice elsewhere in Singapore, then I'll gladly make the choice elsewhere lah. But some people just, maybe their parents stay here, or they just feel that other areas in Singapore are just crap. They grew up in Lentor, so I only want Lentor. Then some people are just like that. So this is another example of a muscle risk, of an example of a supply guard, and this is actually not even that bad, because if I remember correctly, this is 2011, this is 13, then 15 or 7, and then 2018. And all these guys have quite 2 years other than this guy over here. And cocoa pumps managed to rise, okay, naturally, because the new is selling than the old. This new is selling cheaper than the older one. Today you won't find this kind of thing lah. So it is rather invalid example to use. On the other hand, the DNS side, all these you see before this line, later I'll tell you what this line, before this line came about, they were stagnating for how long? They were stagnating for a total of, we are talking about 4 years. Imagine 4 years without capital gain. All these are eating into your interest, which is the most heavy cost of property ownership. And they are eating. Every month you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to stay in where you are, as compared to another person. Maybe the example, those in cocoa pumps, they are not as bad because they bought here, they managed to go up, and then they managed to earn quite some money along this part, maybe about 300-400 PSF. So they can afford to have the free stay because of this appreciation over here. Whereas those guys who bought somewhere over here, they are sitting on the debt deficit, so they're basically paying for their own stay, which is painful actually. Same goes for the other two, and then they've been stagnating for the longest time until this line came in. And for those of you who have guessed correctly, who is the hero? Pasir Ris 8. Pasir Ris 8 came in somewhere high, way higher on this chart, and then because of such a big hero that it was, it pulled up the rest of the tide. The tide basically go up, and then all the other boats all started flying. So today you need, I'm not saying today you want another launch to do that to you. It's not possible, because all these guys, they are launched at the same time. They're going to be launching at the same time. They have to, because developers, they also kanchong, they also got the timeline to sell. So it's very unlikely they will go, this guy is going to come in and then go and launch 2,700 PSF. He's unlikely going to be a hero, because then he will kena ABSD. So why would he want to sacrifice himself for that? It doesn't make sense. Unless Guaco, being the supposedly dominant party, he wants to help his own people. Maybe they get this one, they go and launch at 2007, and then they float the whole damn boat up. They float the whole damn tide up, but very, very unlikely, because nobody wants to kena the ABSD. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. At the end of the day, now is you have a choice whether you want to get into a place where there is a severe bottleneck. Because ultimately, when it comes to the resale market, there's only so much demand at the same time for every area. With the same amount of demand, do you want a lot of supply and then having a hard time trying to exit, or do you want somewhere that is going to at least make sure you have a smooth flow of exit in the future? Okay, that is something that I feel a lot of people, they don't think about. They only think about what looks nicer, what looks better, which show flat has a better sales talk to them, which one has a nicer promise, which agent can guarantee them, which agent can tell them not guarantee, which agent can smoke them with like super big profits, 1 million, that kind of nonsense. But you really need to look at the data and know what's actually going on. Okay, so verdict for Lentor Hill Residences. Before you wonder, why am I giving it a 10 upon 10? Yes, I'm giving it a 10 upon 10. Before you think it's rubbish, and I would like to let you know that yes, it is rubbish because I'm giving it a 10 upon 10. If the average launch price becomes 1,300 plus, which you know is not possible. So this is just a prank. No developer is gonna sell you at that kind of price, and that's why am I doing this? Because I'm not going to be ranking the development right now, because there are too many things. How to say? There are too many things that are unknown at this point. Is the developer going to be launching at the guide price as suggested previously, or are they going to be launching at the real actual price, launch price at the like the previous two launches where they launched lower? If they launch lower, then of course, if you ask me whether it's a good buy, it suddenly becomes more of a good buy lah. But if they launch higher, of course it becomes lesser of a good buy. Then so the rating to me doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. There's no need to rate. There's a lot of things that you need to react on the day itself. And will you even want to get into this place if will you even want to get into this place in the first place? No, unless the price is super really attractive and that my risk margin is very low, then I will really consider. But then again, to those of you who are really savvy, you will really understand what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to talk too much anymore on this. If you need help on the what to enter in this market, and before you think that today is not a good time to enter, it's not a good time to enter. It's not a good time to enter into just any development. But you also need to realize that the later you enter, the later your 3-year SSD starts. So before anything, you need to clear this. But ultimately, over long term, how much is the price gonna move? The problem with people waiting is that they only look at one particular location, and the location is actually not that good in terms of choices. So they keep waiting, and then they start realizing the other parts of Singapore has moved on, but a particular location, I'm not gonna point out the two locations because I've talked about it a lot of times already. But these two particular locations have a lot of supply already, but people love them for whatever reasons, and we'll just see how it goes lah. Okay, and if you need help, then just feel free to text me and I'll see how I can help. Okay, see you guys, bye bye.